From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A savage attack on a man in his own home by one of his roommates leaves him struggling to survive. Where and how it happened, and what the man accused of the attack told police, coming up.
And today is the day Yellowstone National Park opens for the winter season. Continuing our special reports on that opening this morning, I'll take you to West Yellowstone, where businesses see a unique opportunity because of the pandemic.
It is 6:30 on this Tuesday, December 15th. Chet Lehman, Holly Bradley, Matt Elwell. You mentioned it. The park opens at 8 o'clock this morning. How's the weather down there right now, Matt?
Cold.
Well, yeah.
Not a shock at all.
No,
is it?
no.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give you a little precursor. My computer froze, so I don't know.
Oh,
I
well,
can
there you
change
go.
much more than the temperatures.
That's
It's
right.
so cold that my computer quit working in West Yellowstone.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Hey, wow. It just popped back. That's great. Timing is everything, people. Looks like we may see a little light snow before it's all said and done in the mountains of western and southwestern Montana, but most of us are dealing with just chilly temperatures this morning. Afternoon around the 30-degree mark, but a bank of cloud cover kind of rolling back across the area will keep those temperatures steadily near the 30-degree mark. We're going to go check and make sure the computer still works and, I don't know, put a heater on it or something.
I don't see any smoke coming from
No,
over there. It's
we're
storm
good,
tractor
we're
weather,
good.
so that's
You know,
good. Be careful over there.
It doesn't take much to excite us around here, folks.
No, that's it. Go
No.
ahead.
But unplug it and plug it back in if that doesn't work. Well, this morning, West Yellowstone National Park, as we said, does open for a winter season like no other.
Yeah, to find out more, Holly recently traveled to West Yellowstone, where she learned businesses are seeing some unexpected benefits, finding ways to accommodate tourists in spite of COVID restrictions.
The quiet, peaceful beauty of snow-covered Yellowstone. Fresh powder falling as wildlife enjoys serene moments before visitors arrive again.
It's fantastic. It really is a magical place.
Magic that lures in visitors even during a pandemic. December 15th marks Yellowstone's winter opening for snow coaches and snowmobiles.
Well, if we get enough snow, we're going to have a great winter. We've got a lot going on. Our snowmobiles are booked. The snow coaches are picking up.
Travis Watt of See Yellowstone Tours and Alpine Guides says their coaches are filling up fast, even with some changes and limitations brought on by COVID. Park rules limit coaches to 75% capacity, and contractors also have to follow by new Wyoming restrictions. Those say groups must be limited to 10, including the driver. Masks are required. Some coaches will see plexiglass installed as an added precaution, and of course, there's the cleaning.
But everyone's got to be safe. And so our coaches at night will be sanitized each night and throughout the day by the guides. Our clothing that we use for snowmobiles get sanitized every night as well. And so we're just doing a lot of those extra precautions to try to keep everybody safe.
Over at Backcountry Adventures, Jerry Johnson says another challenge is keeping groups separated at the business.
For me is a little more because I run a small shop, physically small shop, so I've brought in another building so I can separate snow coach customers and snowmobile customers.
They'll also have to keep groups socially distanced inside the park.
We're just going to have to be a little careful in social distancing when we go for walks on the boardwalks, stuff like that, because we could have as many as 18 people with one guide.
And what about lodging? Lodges inside the park are closed, so that means hotels in West Yellowstone are seeing a little more business. Watt also manages Three Bear Lodge.
I know we've had people that like to come stay with us for a day, or other people in town go into the park for a day or two at Snow Lodge and then come back out, and those folks aren't able to do that, so there's definitely some impact that way.
But reservations are looking good. We are predicting a great winter season as long as Mother Nature cooperates.
At the Chamber, Wendy Swinson says even though the season is unusual, from hotels and restaurants to retail stores, all businesses are finding a way to cope with COVID, and they are expecting plenty of traffic.
You know, our businesses have been great. They have had that attitude that we're going to adapt and we're going to, do what they ask of us because, we're here to serve the community and our visitors, and we want them to have a great experience. Well, now if they could just get some more snow to help deal with the size limits, some snow coach contractors like See Yellowstone are opting to only take private groups on those coaches. Hotels and tours tell me as soon as a group cancels, that spot usually quickly fills right back up with the next caller or spot on the waiting list. Many have flexible policies if you still want to go, however, there is still room.
6:35 now. In other headlines, in Bozeman, court documents outlining a frightening attack on a roommate that has a young man behind bars. TN's Annie Johnson explains what happened.
This may seem like your typical Bozeman neighborhood, but Sunday night it was anything but. The neighborhood was filled with police cars due to an alleged attempted homicide.
It looks like the victim was stabbed anywhere between 20 to 50 times.
18-year-old Cyrus Mims is accused of attacking one of his 3 roommates with a knife. According to court documents, the attack appeared unprovoked and with the intent to kill.
Do you understand your constitutional right, sir, that I've advised you?
There's a lot of words, and honestly not really, but I think it'll be fine.
Court documents say Mims, the victim, and another roommate were just sitting in the living room for hours before Mims allegedly started stabbing the victim in his chest, neck, and face. The Bozeman man is facing 10 years to life in prison if convicted, but he had other questions for the court.
Yeah, so I'll be able to take a shower after this. I don't know, I'm a little grimy right now. Are there any female attorneys? What's the judge's name?
Neighbors who live next door to Mims say they had no idea.
Yeah, they were the most quiet, kept to themselves people we ever knew. They never even really said hi.
Which led to immediate shock when they heard the news Monday morning.
I said hi to one of them before. I think it was the suspect, and that was pretty much the only interaction, and he seemed really friendly. So it was, yeah, definitely a surprise.
The victim suffered over 20 stab wounds, 2 punctured lungs, and a broken neck. Court documents say Mims indicated he felt the victim was a source of negative energy. Mims' bond was set at $500,000, and as far as we know, the victim is still alive. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
Well, the United States surpassed 300,000 COVID-related deaths yesterday.
Yeah, Montana and U.S. are now the deadliest days so far in the pandemic, with death rates now rivaling heart disease and other top killers in our state. MTN's John Riley has more.
A meme has been making the rounds on social media comparing recent daily COVID-19 related deaths to other casualty events in American history. While the recent daily death totals for COVID in the United States are a grave reminder of how many lives are being lost during the pandemic, it's not entirely fair to make a direct comparison. A terrorist attack or a natural disaster are devastating, but they are limited to a single area. The COVID-19 virus is affecting millions of Americans across the entire country over a long period of time. The CDC determines top mortality rates based on the number of deaths in a given year. In an average year, around 7,700 Americans die every day. 1,700 from heart disease, 1,600 from cancer, 450 from accidents, and 132 attributed to suicide. Montana averages 24 deaths a day. Around 6 a day is associated with heart disease, 6 with cancer, 2 with chronic lower respiratory disease, 1 to accidents, and less than 1 to suicides a day. The COVID-19 daily average since cases were first reported in the country comes out to around 910 COVID deaths a day, 3 a day for Montana. However, recent months have seen an exponential increase in the number of cases and deaths reported in the country. Just the month of November saw an average of 1,300 COVID deaths a day nationwide and 10 COVID deaths a day in Montana. The CDC tracks excess deaths, or deaths that are above the yearly averages, to gain a better perspective on public health crises. From January through October, the United States has seen 299,000 deaths, more than a typical year during that time. 2 out of 3 excess deaths have been attributed to COVID. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Well, the Rocky Mountain Development Council Area 4 Agency on Aging is giving out lifelike robotic pets to senior citizens in need. The Joy for All companion pets were purchased through CARES Act funding and a donation from Blue Cross Blue Shield. RMDC was able to buy about 25 different cats and dogs. The agency is now looking for homes in need of furry companions. Education and Outreach Coordinator Michelle Mathot says these pets are especially helpful for senior citizens who have Alzheimer's or dementia.
We've done stories on that in the past. I think it's a really cool thing.
That's fantastic.
It is.
I had lost my grandma to dementia, and she would have adored that. Those furry stuffed animals were a huge thing for her. So
positive use of some cool technology.
Absolutely.
I like
yeah.
it.
Well, holiday scams are in full swing. A little later, we'll show you how one works and explain how to protect yourself this holiday season.
But first, let's check in with Gail King to see what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we'll hear from two of the first medical workers to receive the coronavirus vaccine in America. How do they feel this morning in their message to people still skeptical about getting vaccinated? And Republican Senator Mitt Romney joins us to discuss the results of the Electoral College vote and his efforts to pass a coronavirus relief package. And Anthony's talking with multi-platinum singer, multi-platinum selling performer, that's how you say that. That is Machine Gun Kelly right there. How he stopped doubting himself and scored his first #1 album. He's doing great these days. We'll see you at 7 o'clock on the dot.